up guys, Stoutmeister here, and today I'm going to be doing a top 5 video. Now, I know top 5 videos are the cliche thing to do, hurt dirt dur, I'm such a YouTube whore, blah blah blah. Well, this top 5 right here is going to be reasons why Christians, the more radical side of Christianity and radical conservatism in general, likes to say that homosexuality is just plain wrong and immoral, and why they shouldn't be allowed to marry. Now, this little top 5 was influenced by two following factors. The previous video I did on homosexuality, where this 11-year-old girl is making her statement in a courtroom on why she feels that same-sex marriage shouldn't be legal. And reason number 2, a fan of mine did a phenomenal job explaining the history of homosexuality and marriage in general, and he also helped me with this top 5 list as well, so I'm going to leave his channel and his video in the description down below. Now, let's get to the top 5 list now, shall we? Reason number 1, the Bible says that homosexuality is wrong. In other words, they have the God says so syndrome. You know what else the Bible says that you can't do? You can't wear cotton / polyester. You can't eat pork. You can't eat lobster, shrimp. You can't play football because of pigskin. You can beat your slave as long as they're able to do work within a day or two. You can sell your daughter into slavery. Your daughter, your virgin daughter, is forced to marry her rapist if she's not pledged to be married, and the rapist pays the father 50 shekels of silver. Oh, but wait, Stoutmeister, that's only the Old Testament. We're going by the New Testament now. Well, tell me, evangelist Christians, why do you use Leviticus 18:22 to justify your propaganda on bashing homosexuality and bashing same-sex marriage if you're so against the Old Testament, if it's all about the Gospels? And not to mention, the New Testament also condemns homosexuality as well. Allow me to display all the verses that I found where homosexuality and same-sex marriage is condemned. But Stoutmeister, what about the teachings of Jesus? Well, from what I recall, I didn't see Jesus bash homosexuality in the Gospels, and for those that don't know which books are the Gospels, that's Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. The 4 books. But then again, we have 2 Timothy 3:16, where it says, all scripture is God-breathed. In other words, every man that wrote the Bible was influenced by the Spirit of God, so where's your little rebuttal for that? Now, with point number 1 being made, am I saying that I have any problem with anyone with some sort of religious view? Absolutely not. If your worldview is religious or anti-religious, I have no problem with you as long as you don't shove those beliefs down anyone's throats. One of the biggest problems I have with certain religious people is when they say that they follow every word in a religious textbook word for word and are such walking contradictions, and the very fact that they shove those beliefs down your throat and make you feel like shit just because you don't console the religious book for every little lifestyle choice that you make, insulting your intelligence quite a bit, because personally, I don't feel like I need to turn to a religious book for every little detail if I need advice on something. I would like to know that I know what's right and what's wrong in a lot of different areas as well, like murder being wrong, and cheating, lying, stealing, and all that shit. You don't need a fucking religious book to tell you that's wrong. But you know what? Like I said, I have no problem with people that have religious viewpoints. I've stated this in numerous videos. I've even collabed with the Mr. Random Xbox, who is a Southern Baptist. He's more non-denominational, but the very fact is, he's a Christian. A very good Christian, in fact, a very smart one. And I'm going to leave his channel in the description down below of this video page. Now, with reason 1 being said, I would like to propose a toast to those kind of people that follow that reasoning oh so well. Now take good note of what this cup has to say right here, and drink up and cheers. Enjoy with some Monster Fruit Punch Dub Edition. It is fucking awesome. Reason number 2. Homosexuals can't have children since they can't reproduce. That's a big reason right there. And that's pretty much only referring to the male homosexuals in the relationship for the most part, while the females still have the option to be a surrogate mother and get donations of sperm inside of them, unless they absolutely hate sperm that much they would rather adopt instead of having a baby inside their stomach. But there's always the option of being a surrogate mother if you're a lesbian, or adoption if you're both a lesbian couple and a male gay couple. And even if it's not concerning homosexual relationships, what about the straight couples that can't have kids physically, so they have to adopt if they want a kid at all? What about those people? Are they bad to society since they can't reproduce and have kids? Your reasoning's a little fucked up there, radicals. Might want to come up with some better reasons to bash on homosexuality and same-sex marriage. And again, not much needs to be said about this reasoning right here, so let's propose a toast once again, take a good note of what this cup has to say, and cheers! Reason number 3. Children will turn out confused or psychologically damaged if they're being raised by 2 mommies or 2 daddies. That's a big reason that they use right there. The child is going to be psychologically damaged if they're being raised by 2 mommies or 2 daddies, because we all know that any child being raised by 2 people of the same sex is going to psychologically damage them, because every single child needs to be raised by 1 mommy and 1 daddy. Well, what about the children that are being psychologically damaged that are raised in single households? For example, the other parent is a deadbeat and wants nothing to do with that family while he's giving everything to his mistress that she desires. What about the child that's being raised in a single household where the parent comes home with a different guy or a different girl every night to fuck while the child is hearing it in the other room? And that parent is not spending any time with the child at all. What about the child that is being taken to foster care after foster care all that child's life, seeing a multitude of different adults of the same sex a lot of times? What about those children? You don't take them into account. Which child to you seems to be more psychologically damaged? The one that is going around different foster cares all their life? The one that has a broken relationship with the parents? Or a child that may have a pretty solid relationship with a couple that may be either hetero or homo? But then again, just like a lot of religious and political groups out there, they like to say that it's all about protecting the children, acting like they have some sort of best interest for the children, when in reality, it's more for their best interests and pushing their viewpoints on us, rather than any genuine act to protect anybody in general but themselves. So for those type of people that like to use that reasoning oh so well, once again I propose a toast to you all with this giant cup. Take good note of what this giant cup has to say, and cheers. Reason number 4. Homosexuality is unnatural and not shown in nature.
Well, I've always been told that homosexuality is unnatural.
Is it? In fact, homosexual relations are common in nature, including zebras, baboons, dolphins, sheep, buffalo, ducks, foxes, elephants, horses, gorillas, moose, house cats, pigs, mice, rabbits, swans, and lions, to name a few.
Well, okay, but we're not animals. Human beings have free will.
False, 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 motherfucking false. But let's speak hypothetically here for just 1 minute. Even if homosexuality is 100% choice, how is it affecting your relationship with your spouse in any way? Do you base your relationships on other people's relationships, whether they be heterosexual or homosexual or bisexual? If you truly do, You don't know the first thing about love. You don't deserve to be married. You don't deserve to have kids with your spouse. You don't deserve that kind of happiness if you won't let them have that kind of happiness. And as far as not seeing it in nature, there's so much to say about that. I'm just going to leave a lot of that information in the description down below because that's what video descriptions are for. Don't be a lazy fat fuck and use the goddamn video description. Now, to those people that use that reasoning, I'm going to grab this mug, you read the goddamn text, and cheers. Reason number 5. If homosexuals were to be married, it will ruin the sanctity of marriage. Ah, you mean the sanctity of marriage that was demonstrated oh so well by celebrities such as Britney Spears and Kim Kardashian, because they're such great role models for the youth to look up to. And look at the divorce rate in America. Half of the marriages that happen in America just fail. What a great example we're showing about how we value marriage oh so much. You know another great role model that we need to be teaching our kids about because this person is such a great role model? How about King Henry VIII? Now, for those that don't know who he is, let me give you a little brief world history on who he is. He was the King of England from a very long time ago. Now, he was a very devout Catholic, and he also had many different wives. Not at once, but he was able to marry and divorce many different times. Now, with his first couple marriages, he wasn't able to divorce because England was connected with the Roman Catholic Church. So he pretty much found a way to break away from the Catholic Church, and he made his own church, the Church of England. And he was able to marry and divorce as many times as he wanted, and I believe he beheaded one of those wives of his as well. And one of the big reasons why he divorced so many times from those different women is because they weren't able to conceive a son for him. Every time he boinked them, they were not able to give him a son until his very last wife. This did not settle good with the king at all, so he disposed of those other women that weren't able to bear him a son. And for those that don't know why it was so important for him to have a son, it's because he needed somebody to take his place as king when he died. Now, let's not forget that King Henry VIII came from a time where men's importance was way superior to those of a woman's importance, just like the majority of the world's history. And let's not forget that during those times, marriage had little to nothing to do with love. Marriage, a lot of times, was about property benefits, about wealth, about alliances with different family members and different kings to prevent wars, so on and so forth. Some of those reasonings are still pretty relevant today, with how some people marry for property benefits, for wealth, for how someone looks, so on and so forth. And is that saying that true love has never existed? Of course not. It's just saying that we, as a society, do not really value true love like we say we do. And a lot of these radical Christians and conservatives that say that they value marriage like that either have come out of the closet eventually, Ted Haggard, or they are unfaithful with their spouses and pretty much leave their families to be with their mistress. So, how much room do we really, as a society, have to talk about the sanctity of marriage? Just a little thought I'd like to throw out there. So, I'm going to end my bitching here. I'm going to propose a toast to those people that think with those reasonings. Take a good note of what this mug has to say. Cheers! Stay tuned for more videos. Take care. See you later. Cue that back outro music now.